Welcome to 60 Days Insider. I'm Dan Abrams. It's the final days of the program. We're going to talk about what Sheriff Knoll is learning as participants begin to finish their time in the program, and Phase 2 participants will start to put their lives back together on the outside. We're here in the studio with Sheriff Knoll, Captain Maples, and Phase 1 participants, Zac and Maryum. Glad to have you all with us. I want to recap some of the bigger events in Phase 2 before the finale airs in 15 minutes. Zac, let's talk Ashleigh. She's struggling. She's not getting the support that she needs from you at this point.
Yeah.
So you have basically two options. Deal with it or don't.
I am dealing with it.
To him, this is like a cakewalk. But this is life and death for me, just as Afghanistan was life or death for him. I break one night in here and I pick up a drug or something like that. That's it. There's no going back for me. That's my bullet. You're seriously insane.
As you watch this, do you feel guilty?
Absolutely. At the time, it seemed like a logical response. Yeah. A lot of the times, if I'm tough on her, it gives her that extra oomph to get through the situation.
If you'd been watching this live, would you be concerned
Totally.
That her sobriety is at risk?
Obviously, I didn't intentionally try to jeopardize my wife's sobriety. I would never in a million years do that.
So did you think the women's pod wasn't as serious as what you went through? Do you think it just wasn't as...
I didn't think it wasn't as serious. I thought it was more of just, you know, I mean, the men's pod was more... Physical violence was definitely prevalent, and the women's pod, I thought it was just a lot of yelling, but not really.
Oh, stereotyping us.
I wasn't stereotyping. I wasn't trying to stereotype, but I mean, from what I was, you know, I was just trying to go off what information I had, and
exactly.
You know, looking back on it, if I had known then what I know now, I would have absolutely 100% changed.
Let's talk about Dion. Dion seems to be a fundamentally different person as
Dion
this progresses.
Straight gangster.
I'm trying to say, damn solid. I'm about to go smack every last one of them. I'm done playing with people. I'm not like, if I gotta come at people, it is what it is. We had to go behind the curtain and handle it if we got to. So I'm ready to fight.
Are you surprised to see this sort of evolution?
No, I think he was the least comfortable with the situation because he's not a jailbird. He hasn't had that lifestyle. He's been in college. He's, you know, lives in a nice area. So I think it got to him. I think those conditions got to him.
You think it's going to be tough for him when he gets out?
He's resilient, so I don't think it'll affect him too much.
It's weird how jail changes people. Even though when you know you're there voluntarily, undercover participant, it changes you.
It absolutely does.
Maryum, Mona Lisa becomes very attached to Stephanie, then starts to feel like she got played in there.
Some just don't sound
like they've already talked to the bank. Chief, whoever approved it, it's on my... I don't understand what the problem is.
Never once have I bought into Stephanie because Stephanie's a scam artist. They want to sell your story, they feel sorry for me. It's constant manipulation. I think Mona Lisa, for quite a while, definitely fell into it a little bit.
I think Stephanie is going to leave a mark on me. Some things I've watched her do, my daughter does to me. Those exact same games.
You don't know everything about these ladies. Like, I saw a different Stephanie. You know, when I was in there, Stephanie was one of the pod bosses.
No, are you sure I said Stephanie said that? Yeah, she did. No, she didn't. What did I say? Okay, all right. No, she didn't. Stephanie, don't make nothing up. Hey, I'd like to know what I said. That you're gonna whoop her ass, beat her ass if she ain't. Girl, I can do nothing but nice to you. Matter of fact, don't go out there saying somebody threatened you. Did nobody threaten you? You did nothing but nice to you. Yeah, you did.
Stephanie was very loud, in and out. I already know Stephanie has a different past already, so you just don't know what they've gone through and what's already happened before you got there.
Sheriff, let's start with Ryan almost crossing the line and becoming too much of an inmate.
You know, he does a lot of stuff that we asked him not to do in training. He got to the point where Ryan was protecting the inmates. He wasn't giving us information that we needed. It was like he went full-blown inmate.
And were you concerned it could blow the entire program?
Absolutely.
So, Captain, Ryan has been someone you've been concerned about since very early on. Are you thinking you might be able to get some good information from him?
I'm hoping so. In Phase 1 and Phase 2, there was only 2 participants that I had to physically go talk to, Robert
You get the NFL Network here?
And then Ryan.
I'm starting to worry a little bit for your safety, to be honest with you. I know you're in a room with Garza.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think that, you know, Garza's your friend.
Well, I can also gauge things fairly well for myself.
But I still think he's going to have some valuable information.
As we come to the end of the program, what are the participants feeling as they're getting to just a few days left?
It's really tough to keep maintaining that cover knowing that you've got 2 days left or 1 day
Right.
left, or you know that you're right at the end of that time.
So what information did Mona Lisa provide you that led to changes at the Clark County Jail?
Biggest thing that shows up in my eyes is that how much we changed her, which was just shocking.
She looked at me in the beginning and gave me and the captain and the staff the look like, I just don't like police, I don't like corrections.
She literally would stand on the opposite side of the room as us, wouldn't talk to us. By the time it was over, she was hugging us.
Hello. So
Yes.
it's okay.
I was very surprised that the CO helped me because I had a preconceived notion of COs. I kind of felt like they could care less. This guy surprised me, and it was more than a relief.
Well, let me ask you, as a social worker, how do you think this experience will enhance her ability to deal with her daughter's situation?
You know, it's going to enhance that ability. To know the experience is going to be, you know, very beneficial for her daughter in the way her mother helps her afterwards, because her mother went through this. I think she'll know what kind of counseling to get her, what kind of rehab to get her. She can speak her language.
Zac, Quentin said that he feels that the system manufactures chaos.
Because 3C, the prisoners decided who got to use the cells, who got bunks, who got access to showers. Your staff could have controlled that. And that created a great deal of stress. It also empowered the stronger inmates to run that particular pod.
There's a lot of chaos that is created when you are trying to man 12 posts with 6 people.
So it's tough. I mean, it's tough all the way around. I think Quentin was very critical. Well, I appreciate that, but sometimes I think he was overly critical.
Seems like everything boils down to short staff, not enough funds. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people write me, hey, Sheriff, if you had a corrections officer direct supervision in that pod, this stuff wouldn't go on. Absolutely right. But I've got 2 officers guarding 300+ inmates in 6 sections. If I put them 2 in one,
right,
then there's somebody watching
So you
the
would
other
welcome more funding for more staff?
It's almost like it's a calculated risk every day.
Right.
Sheriff Noel, I can't imagine what they have to say is always easy to hear. Do you ever feel defensive? You ever want to say, come on, that's not true? That's not fair?
No, not really.
No?
Honestly, I mean, I knew going into this, you got to take the good and the bad. And obviously, as you see, there's a lot of bad stuff that we need to do to improve.
Do you train the COs to be respectful?
It's a constant battle with inmates to make sure that you're not being a quote-unquote inmate lover, but you got to be respectful of them. And to get respect, you got to give respect. So the good COs that shone through this, that were doing a good job and going above and beyond, we use those now for those officers for training officers.
One thing we haven't had a lot of time to talk about is life after jail.
I just really value my freedom. I thought I did before, and I do now. And it changed me. It really did. I mean, when I said the grass is greener, the sky is bluer, it still is. That kind of stuck with me.
It's definitely eye-opening to be inside and then come back out and realize how much freedom you actually do have and how much freedom you actually do give up when you go inside.